Well, hello again. Welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail with Paul Schrimpf here with Eric Sfiligoj. How are you doing, sir?
I am good. Paul, report from you were in our conference room, which is a different backdrop for you. And I, of course, am at the Grand Hyatt Hotel Riverwalk in San Antonio at the annual Agricultural Retailers Association meeting. So,
actually, yeah, very jealous. I've seen reports coming through, stuff on LinkedIn. Sound like pretty solid crowds and good people there. So hopefully you're getting a lot of good information and connecting with everybody, all of our friends. And for me, I know if folks haven't heard, really not paying attention, but I'm basically I've got till the end of the month here at Meister, and I'll be departing in parting ways. And so we have a few of these left to go. So I thought I'd do, since I can't do a farewell tour of the industry, I'd do a farewell tour of Meister. So here I am in our fabulous conference room, where we've never done an edition of CropLife Retail Week from before. But yeah, this is where I spent a lot of time in this room.
You and me both, Paul. Yeah.
Spent many hours here burning up about different trends and crises and challenges and opportunities and everything else. So, it's kind of it's one of those things where you get exhilarated and both a sick feeling at the same time,
Well, I know I'll draw the line when you start trying to do the video from our mailroom with our mailroom guy behind you. So that's where I draw the line.
That's coming next week. That is a great I think we should bring Tim in. Tim would be a great featured guest. So anyway, I think the big news back home while you were away was the Case Raven deal finalizing. I quickly got online and harassed a few of my Raven friends, saying, I can't wait to see them in red, black, and white at the next conference. But yeah, it really is exciting for Case. It'll be great to see Raven get that investment and see where that goes moving forward. That too, wanted to mention, we working with the Association of Equipment Manufacturers, again, put together a really stellar panel featuring Case, Deere, and Kubota, talking about technology and equipment trends affecting everyone. So it's going to be that's the second day, or the first day of the conference on January 18th. And we're just really excited to put these players together in a room and have a discussion about where equipment technology is heading, robotics and automation, and how it affects sustainability and lots of other topics. So that's coming to the Vision Conference. Which should be great. We're really starting to see momentum despite the COVID issues. We're continuing to see momentum pick up in terms of registration and content, and the agenda is virtually final. We'll have everything up on a website, I think, next week, in terms of the people that are speaking, the topics, and everything else. So, please get up there, take a look at it, and we hope we see you there. So now, speaking of being on the road, back to you, sir. Let's say, so you've got all the cool news going on with retail. So I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, actually, the ARA show this year, 2021, first time back since 2019, and attendance, I'd say, Paul, I know 2019 was around 600 folks. I imagine we're in that ballpark based on, haven't seen the official numbers yet, but I'm imagining it's close to that number. Lots of, of dichotomy of feelings going on at the show. I mean, on the plus side, everyone is more than happy to be back in person, seeing their friends in the industry and shaking hands and, giving hugs where appropriate. There's lots of positive feelings about going into the marketplace for 22. Folks have been mentioning the fact that fertilizer prices are about triple what they were a year ago for things like anhydrous ammonia. But most of the retailers here are reporting that their fall application season is going as it normally does. It's pretty strong. Demand has stayed high. So the higher prices are not bothering the growers at the moment. But as you might imagine, there's plenty of things to be worried about. Of course, carbon credits keep coming up, and exactly what role ag retailers will play is a big part of the equation. Labor, folks are saying basically if they want to they want to have good workers, have workers at all. They're basically having to pay them more and offer them more perks to get them to stick around. And of course, supply and demand. Everyone is already saying that there are certain very, very popular products like glyphosate and glufosinate that will be in potentially short supply. And if not short supply, they're going to cost more than they normally do for growers. Fertilizer, some crop nutrition issues perhaps out there on the horizon as well. So again, a lot of hopefulness going into the 22 season, but there's just enough worry out there that everyone is concerned that some black swan event might creep up unexpectedly and just derail the whole thing. So we will have to wait and see on that. But obviously, the bottom line is everyone here, it seems to be enjoying themselves and enjoying getting out and seeing other folks in the industry in person finally.
Well, that's great. It's when everything's normal and everybody's equal, there's not really an opportunity to excel and to shine. There is, but they're a little tougher to find. But when things are difficult, products are difficult to find, and there's a lot of uncertainty, that's when the retailer can really make a difference in that relationship with the grower, explaining what's going on, trying to help them through product decisions and everything else. This is really when the folks that are high service have those relationships, have already kind of segmented customers and have a feel for what their customers are looking for. That's when retailers can really deliver at the end of the day. So, while it's challenging and there are worrisome things, who are growers really going to turn to? They're going to turn to their trusted advisors or retailers to help them figure this out. So, I can see how it would be an exciting time, and despite all the challenges, probably be 22 be a very interesting, could be a very compellingly good year for our retail friends. So great to hear.
Yeah, no. And again, when I get back to the office, my office, and download some of my photographs, next week I'll give a lowdown on some of the awards that were handed out at this year's ARA show. I mean, part of the fun is watching who gets what hardware, and I have some pictures to go along with those reports. So
very good, sir. Okay, so anything here?
Well, yeah, actually, Paul, believe it or not, I actually have a fun with numbers for you.
It was all that playing time, wasn't it? Was that stinking?
Yeah, it was all that playing time. And actually, yeah, no, one of the speakers here was you'll have to help me. Was it Jason Weller from Truterra?
Yes, Jason.
Yes, he was the keynote speaker at the meeting, and he was talking a little bit about the whole carbon carbon market, part of the business for agriculture. So Paul, your fun with numbers is this. It is 360 million tons. And your clue, of course, is this has to do with carbon credits. So what do you think 360 million tons might represent as a fun with numbers number?
Something to do with how much carbon we already sequester?
I'm sorry. No. It's sort of the reverse. This has to do with how much carbon is actually put into the air through emissions. So now what Jason pointed out is a slide. He put up a slide that showed the US market and what each part of the market contributes to the current carbon footprint that you get with greenhouse gas emissions. Agriculture is actually pretty low. It's only 10% of total US emissions at 658 million tons per year. But what was interesting, and here's where your number comes in, crop production. So growing the crops and getting them in the, getting them out of the field eventually represents 55% of ag's total emissions of greenhouse gases, which comes out to 360 million tons per year. So of that 600 and oops, I lost the video. All right, but anyhow, yeah, of that 600 million figure, 360 it goes from comes from the fact that they were actually producing the crops in the first place. So again, the ag in total does not contribute that much to greenhouse gas emissions, but the crop process is more than half of what is contributed. So just thought that was an interesting little tidbit of information.
Now, probably give some credence to maybe electric vehicles, to to equipment technology that can continue to improve economy, or just improve the way, improve the the overall fuel usage, among other things. I assume that's part of it, the logistical part of it, but the crop part is always also part of it.
Yeah, and again, I mean, that, that takes into account, obviously, running equipment through the field where you have, emissions going into the air from that. So again, it was interesting. And since you mentioned it too, one of the folks I was talking to here was talking a little bit about the supply and demand situation, mentioned the fact that one of the biggest issues right now is finding people to drive trucks so that they can logistically move product from one place to another where it needs to be. Mentioned the fact that, autonomous trucks driving themselves perhaps might be in the industry's future down the line. Not right away, obviously, but, maybe one of these days you'll see, an automated tender leaving the plant and heading into the field with the fertilizer for the grower. I can envision something like that eventually, maybe not right away, but I certainly could see that type of technology catching on if finding drivers continues to be an issue for these folks.
You bet. I think so too. It seems to be a natural fit, even moving grain from one place to another in fairly rural areas where you take out the people risk equation, which is the most significant part of it, or take some of it out, not out all of it, obviously, but make it much more minimal than it would be in the big city. It makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So that's all I have. But like I said, I'll share more information next week when we're together, and I can download some photographs and videos. So.
All righty, sir. Well, thanks for dialing in from San Antonio. Safe travels back. And all of you, thanks for joining us for Retail Week, CropLife Retail Week, that is, and we will see you next week.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.